Hi everyone, Jill from Red Tent Australia here. I'm really excited to introduce you to Jodie Danaan. Jodie is a priestess of earth-based spirituality and is involved in a wide range of goddess community events. Jodie has been practicing earth-based spirituality for over 25 years, and she runs the business Oakwillow, where she coordinates workshops, teaches the Southern Wheel of the Year, and runs coming-of-age rites of passage for girls. Her traditions are deeply rooted in the Celtic spiritual traditions and closely working with the elements, seasons, and learning from Indigenous systems of knowledge. Another arm of Oakwillow is her Rowan Tree branch, the End of Life Consultancy, in which she helps families to plan together in relation to death and dying. She has a love of ceremony and connection with the aim of positively impacting on all the rites of passage that are experienced through life. Her gift to you at the Boundless Self-Love Retreat Invoking the Warrior Woman is called the Morrigan Journey, Reclaiming Your Inner Sovereignty. Her workshop will use the elements to create a cauldron to explore issues relating to all forms of violence. Throughout the ceremony, she will bring in the elements of air to create a safe sharing circle through women's stories. Through the element of fire, we will burn away what no longer serves us and name what we want to release. Through water, we will have our own step towards cleansing. Through earth, we will come back together and reclaim ourselves in a sovereign state amongst our sisters as warriors, strong and grounded. We all know that domestic and sexual violence impacts on women from all areas of society. Having this safe space to talk about our experiences and reclaim ourselves will be a powerful space that is going to be created for all women. Thank you, Jodie, for coming to Boundless Self-Love Retreat. Can I start by asking you what influenced you to come to the retreat?
Well, I guess I've been involved with Red Tent Australia for a little while, particularly Bayside Red Tent, which has been lovely to come along to. And so I really like the space created that happens there. So that's when I saw the theme that was happening this year, I think that really spoke to me. And so a lot of, as you said, I do a lot of the Celtic work. And so Morrigan is one of my beloveds. So I really, really love Morrigan. And so that really speaks to me. And not as a, when I think of the warrior energy, when I think of that warrior aspect, part of that women's warrior work, I think of what Jane Harbert Collins calls like the rewilding of women. Not that kind of warlike, but the aspect of a woman rewilded to her true source amongst her sisters, and that actually in her true sovereignty. And so Morrigan, which is the story that we'll be working with, is that her story, a lot of people see her as this kind of really intense goddess, and she is a bit intense, but it's that for her, it's sovereignty of self, sovereignty of land, sovereignty of family. So it's really that reclaiming of self. So that really, I think, spoke to me around that aspect.
And so what do you think it is that drives you to do this work?
Oh, I think I've always been really interested in rites of passage. These are really pivotal moments in time, and they're really significant, and they can bury you, they can go by under the surface, or they can be really powerful transformational times. And so I think really working with people around how to harness those moments and how to really build upon that, whether it be coming of age, whether it be aspects around how to work with death, whether it be menopause, whether, a significant event such as, what we're talking about with here, a significant event like a violent event that might have happened, or a big life change, or a marriage or a change that might have happened, actually working to how to transform and what that might be for a person. I think it's really significant, rather than just pushing away, that happened then and let's just move away.
Yeah, and let's just pretend it didn't happen. No.
Yeah, that happened, just move away. How to actually really harness that energy and own it. And I think part of that warrior aspect of women is to, when do we draw the line? When do we step into ourselves and own who we are, and to be with other women, to hear those stories and realize that, we've often been in similar circumstances. We're not alone in this situation, and to learn from each other in those. I think that can be really powerful.
Well, thank you so much for doing this work. It's a very honourable thing, but we are so glad that you're coming to the retreat to do this work. Can you think of a time that you'd like to share with the women that are watching where you've had to invoke your warrior woman to share, to inspire?
Well, there's been many times in my life I've had to invoke the warrior. I mean, you just say, queer, pagan, single mom. It's just kind of, you have to put your big girl pants on anytime that, you're putting those sorts of names out there. But I think, for me, I've had a lot of experiences in my life, I think, where I've had to really step up and put changes into my life. And I think, there's been areas where, I've worked in areas where, I've had to deal with drug and alcohol. I've worked in corrective centres where I've had to really try and advocate for change really strongly. When I was a teenager, I went through a really significant amount of violence, and I had to, and you talk about those pivotal moments of change. When I moved from one state to the other, I made some big decisions about, where I was going to be and what I was going to do. And I treated that healing process from that level of violence that I had experienced like a magical initiation. Like, for a year and a day, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to step up, and I'm going to, healing just doesn't happen. It's not something you go to a kinesiologist once, or, go get a massage and bang, I'm healed from violence, and, suddenly I'm just going to forget about that now. If people have experienced significant violence, it takes significant work, I think, and dedication. So that's why I treated it like an initiation process. And so for a year and a day, I had a particular ceremony that I did every single night. Rain, hail, shine, whether I had the flu, whether it was pouring with rain, I stood out on the grass every night, and I went through this elemental thing, and I did it every single night. And whatever was arising, whatever was happening, that's what I worked with, that's what I did. And then after that year and a day, I'd moved significantly through that healing process. I was a very different person at the end of that year. And so I think, change can happen. People don't always have to remain the same person they were after, big events that have happened to them. Change is possible. And I think a lot of people don't think that's possible even after really big events, and it is. But I think, but it takes that dedication and work and that opening to healing.
And looking at it from a number of different angles, and being willing to do the work and open up. So
yeah.
Oh, you're an inspiration, Jodie. Thank you so much. Thank you for this time that we've had today together, but also thank you for coming to the retreat. And to those that are watching, again, come to the Boundless Self-Love Retreat last weekend in May, where you can meet Jodie and many, many other very inspirational women. And thank you.
It's going to be awesome.